Hello.
Hello, welcome to another episode of Can We Talk?
Can we talk?
I'm Darcy.
I'm Sonia.
And we're here in southern Minnesota, located in beautiful Owatonna.
Yes. Okay, weather report.
It's a little chilly,
okay.
a little windy.
Okay.
We like to talk about the weather in the Midwest. It's a daily conversation around here.
It's a daily conversation.
And it changes from hour to hour on what the actual weather is like, so.
Short sleeves, long sleeves, you never know.
Yep, gotta be prepared.
So, what time of year is it?
Oh, other than fall and the weather changing and all that kind of stuff, it is also conference season.
Conferences.
And we're talking classroom conferences. It's also sports conference season for like football and soccer and that kind of stuff, but we're talking school conferences. So, how was school conferences for you when you were a kid? What kind of things did those teachers say about sweet little Sonia?
Okay, big surprise. She talks too much in class.
That's a shock. I am shocked by that statement.
I know.
Was that the only thing that they really had to say, was that you talked too much in class?
You know, yeah. I've even looked at some of my report cards, and that's just sort of the general theme. I was a clown. So now that I know more things, I think I was avoiding some stuff by being the clown and talking too much. How about you?
Yeah, I was the same thing. It talks too much in class. Talks too much in class and sloppy handwriting. Those are my...
Oh, no. I got certificates on penmanship.
No, I still get mocked for my handwriting. I should have been a doctor or something, because
yes,
that's what my signature represents.
But see, look we talk too much. Now we're doing this.
Yeah, now we're talking more.
Yeah, I have a friend. She just posted on Facebook that she also had a lot of, she talks too much in class. And she uses that now in her career. But she was talking to me about how her son recently, at the conference just recently, and was hearing things like, your kid is really smart, but...
Yeah.
And I remember, hearing that from, some of my other friends, and I hear that a lot in consultations here.
Yeah.
They're really smart, but...
Yeah. Looking back, I heard that a lot with my oldest. Because he did really well on tests, did really well on his standardized tests, but wasn't turning in homework, was very disorganized, or it was half done. And I now know that his really only cognitive skill that he struggles with is working memory. And he has done brain training once he was done with high school and knew more about it, specifically focusing on that working memory. And he doesn't seem to have those types of issues as much with his college work.
Right.
He still loses his keys all the time, so I got to get him back here to get some more, but it has gotten better. But that was a common one we heard from him, is that he's smart, or his test scores don't reflect what he's doing in the classroom, like they just don't match up. Right, and that now I know is a big red flag.
Right. And, the difference between, quickly, what's the difference between that working memory and long-term memory when it comes to schoolwork?
Well, that working memory is the stuff that you kind of use right away as you're going through. So being able to do that homework right afterwards, it's hard to comprehend that he can't remember that, but he can remember it a week later to be able to nail it on a test.
Right.
And so, that's where that disorganization comes from too, is he couldn't remember where he put things, just kind of threw stuff in his backpack. And if it was gone, then, once it was in there, it might as well have just disappeared altogether.
But can probably tell you stories from a long time ago.
Oh my gosh, he can quote TV shows like it's nobody's business. The lines to TV shows and movies and stories from remembering this play from soccer from when he was 10 years old, the details he can remember. Yeah, it's ridiculous. So it definitely played well for him in some aspects. His ACTs and MCAs and all those were really good. Didn't match up with, his GPA.
But he's really smart.
But you might also hear some other phrases, like if they take a really long time to finish homework. And this is a common one for me that demonstrates when you have an A student and they take a really long time to get homework done, that A is probably much more a reflection of their hard work than necessarily what they're learning and remembering.
Right.
Because we hear that a lot, and my daughter just shared, some of her friends were like, how come I have straight A's? I have a better GPA, but my ACT score is 3 or 4 points lower than somebody who has a much lower GPA. And it's like, that GPA at some point becomes about hard work and not necessarily about what you know.
Right, or
and that there's probably a
retaining, right.
cognitive skill issue, a long-term memory or processing speed or something like that that's playing into it.
Yeah. Some other things that we do here, and we, think about when you were in conferences or middle school, they're going to be coming up soon. It's the inability to stay on task, impulsiveness, dislike or disinterested in school. How does your kid feel about going to school?
Has a hard time following directions. That one, that was a big one for my youngest. When we went and had the consultation, he's like, if you give him 3-step directions, how many does he tend to not remember them? And is he convinced, saying, you never said that, you never told me that? And I was just like, oh, that's a daily conversation in our house. Well, his processing speed was so slow, he was processing that first thing I said, probably never did hear the other 2 directions that I gave him.
Yeah. And I mean, how does that work in school? I do this a lot in consultations. I'll say, as a teacher, I would tell you to pull out a book, open up to a certain page, read this chapter, and then do problems, 1 through something. And immediately I ask, what did you hear? And a lot of times I hear, we're going to work on this. Can't tell me the page number and what problems we're going to work on. And then I'll ask, a few minutes later, and it'll be the exact same answer. So they remember what they remembered, but they didn't hear it at the very beginning.
And it's usually the first step. Like they'll remember what book you said to take out, but it's those that second, third, and fourth step that they forget and struggle with. So that can be a processing speed and a working memory speed. So those are some of the kind of things that you want to be listening for from your teachers in conferences, is if they struggle to stay on task, if they are disorganized, if they're smart, but their work doesn't match up with what they maybe can answer out loud in class, if they have spelling problems. What did you say? Inattentive. I think I said that one already. Avoiding doing their homework. Sometimes that talking, being the class clown. Not all kids with learning struggles have the negative behaviors, if you will, that they're not acting out in that way. There might be the class clown to divert the attention or get out of having to do some of the work. So,
or you just may be a super talkative, fun person.
Yeah.
But
yes, that's a different skill that they have to work with. So if you're hearing those kinds of phrases at your conferences this year, give us a call. A lot of those are related to an underlying cognitive skill weakness in one or more areas, and we can help strengthen that and get them back on track.
Absolutely.
So that conferences in a year could be a totally different story.
Yep, we'll talk more about ACTs another time.
Yes, we will.
Okay.
All right, peace out. Have a good day.